good morning to you, good afternoon to anyone else, and good evening wherever you might be. My name is Rachel Douglas-Jones, and I'm really thrilled to be the moderator for this first panel, which is called Smartness in Progress. And Masha reminded me earlier that it's the first panel because we're putting PhD voices first in this event, and because this work is also in progress. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm an associate professor at the IT University here in Copenhagen. And here is where I run the Technologies in Practice research group, a wonderful interdisciplinary group of about 40 people at all stages of career. And I also co-direct the Ethos Lab. And I'm in my office right now, but they're over the other side of the building, gathered around a big screen to enjoy this event together. Those of you online can see some waving happening up there. So this is a truly hybrid panel. We have some participants who are online and some participants who are in person, and I will ask for your patience as we move between these two things. We have a tight schedule, and I will be asking people to keep to time, but our first presentation in the art department comes from Bruno Moreschi and Gabriel Pereira, and it's called Future Movement Rejected, and you have 5 minutes.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Gabriel Pereira. I'll be presenting. There was, I think, a mistake in the calendar there. It's Bruno Moreschi, his name, and that should be correct in the piece itself and everything else. So this is a piece called Future Movement Future Rejected, which we have created together, and it is a video piece, and it is about what sorts of surveillance futures. It asks questions about which kinds of surveillance futures do we want to see and live through. And I won't be speaking much because I really want to use this opportunity to invite you all to read, to actually see the piece itself. It is in the exhibition there in Ottawa, but also available online. And I'll just say a few words that this is a piece which we created as part of a special issue from the journal Surveillance and Society. It was they were asking about exactly which surveillance futures do we want, but they asked us not to think only in terms of dystopian surveillance futures, that seems to be very common, but also to think about what utopian surveillance futures would mean. And so Bruno and I started thinking a lot on this in relation to this idea of refusal. So how could we refuse surveillance? Not only try to make surveillance work in a better way or in a more fair or just way, but also to refuse it, to say that we do not want certain kinds of surveillance in the cities, in our personal lives, and so on. And so the piece really asks that by telling this story about this new technology that is created, and this panel of 3 academics is invited to peer review it, so to say, and give their vision about if this technology should be approved for use or not. And they get into a really interesting discussion about what would it mean about the problems of that technology. And so it really is about using this form of speculative fiction that video allows us to think about and to create, to think about those other words, or future words that we want to see, and relate this to the growing calls for thinking about refusal in scholarship and activism and in the arts. I'll stop here, and I really invite you to visit the piece. It's available, as I said, on the gallery, but also online, and also in the Surveillance and Society journal, where you can also read a really short research statement that we have written about it. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.